Yo, what's up? T.G.M. to another video. 2 months I have been gone away from you guys. Today's video will be a Japanese recap, but I'm going to go over what I've been doing. Mostly I've been at work getting gear for you guys and everything, so we can take off. So, but most importantly, I have been keeping up my guitar clips little by little. You guys can still leave stuff in my suggestion, but of course, you already know for the Japanese recap, it's gonna be like lesson 1 through 6. I'm gonna preferably go over like 1 through 5 pretty fast. But when we get to like tip form and everything again, I'm gonna kind of slow down and kind of briefly, break it down again. So we're gonna go with that again. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so we're gonna be, well, of course, like old times. Of course, if you guys have a Japanese book, you can go ahead and flip to page 36. There's the Japanese book we're gonna be using. This one right here. So, but of course, if you guys don't have a Japanese book, you can always follow along. So, then we're gonna start with lesson 1 yet again. Back to the basics. So, this is Atarashi Tomodachi. So, we're gonna just read briefly over the dialogue, then the vocabulary, and then go over some things over. So we have Konnichiwa, Kimura Takashi desu. And it says, Meri Hato desu. Yaogakusei desu ka? Ie, Nihonjin desu. So desu ka? Nanensei desu ka? 4年生. So the first story reads as follows in English. It says, hello, I am Takashi Kimura. Mary, I am Mary Hart. Are you an international student? No, I am Japanese. I see. What year in college are you? I am a 4th year student. Now the second story reads, at the orientation, Mary introduces herself to everyone. So basically, Hajimemashite, Mary Hato desu. Then it says, Arizona Daigaku no gakusei desu. 2年生. Senko wa Nihongo desu. 19 歳です. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Second story reads as follows in English. How do you do? I am Mary Hart. I am a student at the University of Arizona. I am a 2nd year student. My major is Japanese. I am 19 years old. Nice to meet you. I'm going to show you guys the story, of course, like I always do. That's the Japanese translation. That's the and that's the English. Hopefully you guys can see all of it. So of course this is just the vocabulary. We're gonna read over this fairly quickly. Daigaku, college or university. Koko, high school. Gakusei, student. Daigakusei, college student. Ryogakusei, international student. Sensei, teacher, professor. Nensei, year student. Ichinensei, 1st year student. Senko, major. Watashi, tomodachi, friend. San, Mr. or Miss. Jin, people, human. Nihonjin, Japanese people. Now we have time. Ima means now. Gozen, AM, Gogo, PM, Ji, o'clock, Ichiji, 1 o'clock. Han, half, Niji Han, 2:30. Now we have Nihon, Japan, America, USA. Go, language. Nihongo, Japanese language. Sai, years old. Denwa, telephone. Ban, number. Now we have number, which is bango. So ban means number and bango means number 2. But the difference is basically one basically means a number that you follow with, and the other one is just plain and simple, just number, like your number. The other one is name or oname wa, or name, to make it way more formal when you're meeting someone new. And we have what, nan or nani, and the expressions are ano, hai means yes, ano means so desu means that's right. We have so desu ka, I see, that's so. Now of course we have additional vocabulary. You guys can look at the additional vocabulary if you want to, but this is the additional vocabulary. It's basically countries and everything. Make sure you guys see all of that. Ready? So, and then now basically That's why I said I'm just scanning over 1 through 5, because now 1 through 5 is basically just teaching you, like, it's basically teaching you X, Y, Y. This is teaching you how to form sentences. You guys should know how to form sentences by now. If you don't, I'm gonna go over it briefly. This means it is. You want topic first. Wa particle. Wa is going to be like, let's say the verb, right? It's gonna be the verb. So I'm gonna give you guys a sentence, right? So senko wa. That's the topic. Senko, major. Senko wa Nihongo desu. That's gonna be the verb. Nihongo. Alright. So Nihongo desu. Senko wa Nihongo desu. My major is the Japanese language. And I'm gonna show you guys this right here. I'm not gonna go into detail. So you guys do want to go to detail. I actually can't even link the website anymore, because when I went back to the website, it was taken down because of copyright infringement. But here we have question sentences, which is the particle call. We have noun 1, no plus noun 2. It's basically like a no, like the no noun is like a possessive noun, of course. As I said, we just flipping over this. We have some practice. We have basically 1年生, 2年生, 3年生, 4年生, 5年生. Well, there's no such thing as 5年生, but I don't know why I said it. But so it's basically this, and it's basically teaching you how to say years old in Japanese. Every time you say like a number and sai is after it, it means years old, like isai, nisai. Then we have sansai, yonsai, gosai, okusai, nanasai, hasai, 9歳, 10歳, and so on. So now we have, well, let's do that again. Now we have times. 1 means 1 o'clock. 2時, 3時, 4時, 5時, 6時, 7時, 8時, 9時, 9時. Then we have like minutes in Japanese. This is something I actually need to come back and study myself, because I'm not too great with minutes in Japanese. It's just something I need to study myself. So now we have number 2, kaimono, which is shopping. So, すみません、これはいくらですか? So, then we have 味噌の人、それは3000円です。Mary says, 高いですね。じゃあ、あの時計はいくらですか? あれは3500円です。そうですか。あれも高いですね。これは1800円ですよ。So we also have じゃあその時計をください。So now we're gonna read over number 1 in English, which would be, excuse me, how much is this? It is 3,000 yen. Mary said it's expensive. Well then, how much is that watch? The vendor says that is 3,500 yen. Mary says, I see. That is expensive too. And the vendor said, this is 1,000. This is 1,800. Then Mary says, then I'll take that watch. So now we have story number. Well, it's not really a story, but it's really a part of this. So it says shiranai hito, which means unknown person. これは誰の財布ですか? I'm gonna read that slow because I don't know why I sped through it. It says これは誰の財布ですか? And it basically means whose wallet is this? Mary says 私の財布です. And it's my wallet. And then she says ありがとうございます. Finding it. So of course we have the English translation. Stranger, whose wallet is this? Then we have Mary. It's my wallet. Thank you very much. So now after Mary goes to a restaurant. So of course we have 店の人. We have いらっしゃいます。メニューをどうぞ. Mary says どうも。これは何ですか? The vendor says どれですか? あ、とんかつです. Mary says とんかつ、魚ですか? The vendor says, いえ、魚じゃないです. He says, 肉です。美味しいですよ. Mary says, じゃあ、これをお願いします. So, and we also have, すみません。鳥はどこですか? 店の人 says, あそこです. Mary says, ありがとうございます. So, right here, the restaurant attendant basically says, welcome, here's the menu. Mary says, thank you. What is this? The restaurant attendant says, which one? Oh, it is tonkatsu, which means pork cut. The restaurant attendant says, no, it is not fish, it is meat, it is delicious. Well, of course, Mary says tonkatsu is a fish. Mary says, then I have this. Then Mary says, excuse me, where's the restaurant? The restaurant attendant says, it is over there. Mary says, thank you very much. Really, that's lesson 2. I'm going to go over this briefly. 2 is, well, actually, I'm not even actually going to go over this because this is basically like words on how to form sentences. If my camera, that's all. I'm glad I'm getting a new camera. So it basically teaches you how to use kore, sore, are, dore. Because most of them can mean kore means by me, sore means by the listener, and are means away from both of us, which is like asoko and stuff like that. And dore in general just means which one. And of course, dono means which one plus a noun. And of course, we have these over kono, sono, ano, dono, what I was just talking about. I'm gonna give you guys one sentence from like the most. So we have kono toke wa ikura desu ka? How much is this watch? Then we have sono toke wa 3000 yen desu. The watch in your hand, it is 3,000 yen. So we have ano gakosei wa ryo gakosei desu. That student over there. That student over there is an international student. So now we have janai desu, which is basically the negative form of how to do it now. So I'm gonna go to lesson 3 right quick. It's a lot in lesson 2 actually. It's just really a lot of pair work and everything. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead. You guys want to see the story? As a matter of fact, I want you guys to read the story yourself. Hopefully you guys can see that. I want you guys to practice that yourself. And of course, if you have a Japanese book, you guys can do that yourself. I'm gonna leave that for your homework. So, of course, we have the vocabulary for lesson 4. I know this is lesson 3. I'm trying to skip ahead. Movie in Japanese is eiga. Music is ongaku. Magazine is zashi. Sports is supatsu. Date is deito. Tennis is tennis. TV is terebi. Ice cream, ice cream. Hamburger is hamburger. Sake or alcoholic drink is osake. Green tea is ocha. Coffee is kohi. Breakfast is asagohan. Water is mizu. Lunch is hirogohan. Dinner is bangohan. Home or your house, like my house. Well, actually, no, someone else's house. Someone else's house is ie. Home or my place is uchi. School, gakko, cafe. This is time, ashita, tomorrow, kyo, today, asa, morning, konban, tonight. Every day and every night, mainichi, every day, maiban, every night. Shimasu, weekend, doyobi, Saturday, nichobi, Sunday, when, isu, at about, goro. And these are verbs, irregular verbs, like more verbs in here, verbs, adjectives, hayai, and everything. We have adverbs and expressions. I remember when I was first getting stuck on these adverbs and expressions, like yoku, tokidoki, etc. And I'm not gonna make this video too long for you guys. Oh, this is very important though, in this verb conjugation now. I'm just gonna tell you guys how to conjugate ru verbs. So, irregular verbs. I'm not gonna go into depth. So, ru verbs are conjugated as mas, verbs are imas, and irregular verbs are conjugated as ri. They're like e, but I'm just give you guys an example. So suited, which is basically in very irregular. So suited in the present affirmative would just be shimasu. So you would basically say or shimasen. And the negative you would just basically be adding masen. Like, okay, so I'm gonna conjugate yomu, right? So that would be yomimasu or yomimasen. Now I'm gonna conjugate taberu, which means to eat. So I say tabimasu or tabimasen. And of course, there's some more practices and everything here, but like I said, I'm not gonna be going over the practices. That's gonna take up a bunch of time. Of course, now we have lesson 4. So, the first date, hajime tono deto. So, Mary, sumimasen, McDonald's wa doko desu ka? And shirenai hito, again, says, asoko ni hoteru ga arimasu ne. And he says, McDonald's wa ano hoteru no mai desu yo. He's basically saying, and well, she says arigatou gozaimasu, but he's basically saying McDonald's is. He says McDonald's is in front of the hotel. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over. One in English. Mary says, "Excuse me, where is McDonald's?" The stranger says, "There's a hotel over there. McDonald's is in front of that hotel." Mary says, "Thank you very much." And number 2 says, "Tadaima," and her father says, "Okaeri nasai." Eiga wa dou deshita ka? And Mary says, "Mimasen deshita." Takashi-san wa kimasen deshita. And her father says, "Doushite de desu ka?" Mary says, "Wakarimasen. Dakara hitori de honya to o otera ni ikimashita." And her father says, "Hito ga takusan imashite ka?" Now I know that's kind of confusing. Like the word, I promise you, the words in Japanese are a little tongue twisted. Like, and then she says, "Hai, hotel da shashin o takusan o torimashita." And then she says, "Koen ni mo ikimashita." And he says, "So desu ka?" So number 2 reads as follows now in English. It says, "I'm home." Her father says, "Welcome home. How was the movie?" So, his daughter says, "I didn't see it." Takashi didn't come. Her father says, "Oh, why?" Mary says, "I don't know. So I went to a bookstore in the temple alone." Her father says, "Were there a lot of people?" Mary says, "Yes, I took many pictures at the temple. I also went to a park." The father says, "I see." And now the third story reads as follows in Japanese first. "Moshi moshi, Miri-san." He says, "Takashi-san, kyokimasen deshita ne." Takashi says as follows, "Ikimashita yo. Mosu baga no mae de 1 jikan machimashita." He waited in front of Moss Burger for like an hour. Ichijikan means like an hour. Masu baga janai desu yo. McDonald's desu yo. Takashi says, "McDonald's gomenasai." So 3 reads as follows. "Hello, Mary." Mary says, "Oh, Takashi, you didn't come today, did you?" Mary says, "Not Moss Burger, McDonald's." Takashi says, "McDonald's, I'm sorry." So I'm gonna show you guys that, of course. Alright. And we have a little more time on our hands. I'm gonna just show you guys that. I'm not trying to rush through the video. I don't want it to be too long. I don't want to hold you guys up. So it's basically spelling that ga arimasu imasu. Ga arimasu. Well, first it's basically the particle got, then arimasu and got imasu. But basically, it's basically saying arimasu is used for things that don't exist, like non-living things, and imasu is used for living things like people, things like that. Describing what things are, and your past tense and everything. Basically, the past tense of this is deshita, and the verb past tense is mashita. And of course, the negative is masen. Past negative is masen deshita. And of course, the negative past tense of this is janakatta desu. I'm actually gonna show you guys that for the people that don't have a book. Oh yeah, we have taco song. That basically means like a lot of meaning. So we have lesson 5 now, because these are basically practices. Oh yeah, days of the weeks and months. These are very important. I'm gonna show you guys this. Like if you really want to get into Japanese and really immerse yourself in it, you can put your guys' devices in Japanese. You can learn how to read the months and everything, and this will really come in handy. So now we have lesson 5, a trip to Okinawa. So 1, いい天気ですね. This is Robert, by the way, speaking right now. Ken said, そうですね. でも、ちょっと暑いですね. Robert says, わ、綺麗な海. Ken says, 泳ぎましょう. And then Ken says, ロバートさんはどんなスポーツが好きですか? Robert says, サーフィンが好きです。明日一緒にやりましょうか. And then Ken says, でも難しくないですか? Robert says, 大丈夫ですよ. You'll be fine. So, number 1 reads as follows: nice weather. Robert says. Ken follows up and says, yeah, but it's a little hot. And Robert says, yes, wow, the sea is beautiful. Ken said, let's swim. And then Ken says, what kind of sports do you like, Robert? Robert says, I like surfing. Shall we do it together tomorrow? Ken says, but isn't it difficult? Robert says, no. So story 2 reads as follows. Robert says, すみません。この T シャツはいくらですか? And of course, I believe it's the vendor, store attendant. He says, 1800円です. And then Robert says, then he says, L サイズがありますか? He says, はい、ありますよ. We have a large size. He says, じゃあ、L サイズを2枚ください. So this reads as follows. Excuse me, how much is this t-shirt? The store attendant says, it is 1,800 yen. Robert says, do you have a large size? The store attendant says, yes, we do. Robert says, then 2 large ones, please. So this is the third story. I'm going to leave the third story to you guys. I'll try to give you guys a little bit to do. And of course, I'm going to show you guys the first stories that I read over. Alrighty. Now, this is the vocabulary for it. For those who have their book, the vocabulary, well, you're learning a lot of not adjectives. I will tell you that, but we're gonna skip over these for now. We're just really reviewing and recapping. If I were to keep trying to go into depth with all this recapping and everything, this video would be long. If I were to go into depth and actually explain what all of these things are to you guys, this video will be long. I mean, if you guys want that, but I mean, I just got back. I don't even know who actually watching this. I'm gonna be real, but so now lesson 6, I skipped over the story and the vocabulary. We're going straight into test form, because that's all that matters in lesson 6. but no, the stories are to help your vocabulary and your comprehension and everything. But of course, I'm gonna show you guys a chart of test form, and the song for Tech Form. I want you guys to just hook that up. That's all for Tech Form, really. I want you guys to study the chart. If you guys do have any questions, you guys can ask me in the comment section below. I said I'm watching this, but and they teach you the song somewhere. I can't remember where it is. It's the Battle Hymn Teflon song. Yeah, right here. Because we have the Teflon practice, which is my favorite. So it's Al atemasu matte toru tote yomu yonde asobu asonde shinu shinde kaku kaite kesu keshite isogu isoide mina ubabu Teflon. I really just did it. It's right here. And that's really about it. Wow. Tef Form. Japanese Recall. Lessons 1 through 6. 7, 8, and 9. I actually got to check back through my videos to see what I've actually where I actually left off at my lessons and everything. If you guys are gonna study your vocabulary and then go to your book and everything, make sure you guys use flashcards. Japanese on the front, and then at the back you guys also can use Anki and everything. It's really good, and also it can help you with lessons and everything too. Like I said, the link in the description, they took that page down because of copyright infringement, so I don't know where to recommend you guys at now. Honestly, I guess you can just hook it up, but that's crazy though. That was really helping me. But that'll be the end of the video, guys. Honestly, I'm glad to be back. My camera's coming, my 4K GoPro camera, guys. More vlogs everywhere, every single day now. Oh my goodness, it has been great. It's great to return. Let me, if whoever actually watched through this whole thing, I really appreciate you though, because this like my first day back, and let me know that one person that watched through all the way to this. Let me know what the next thing of my introductory series should be, because when I first started off, it was a samurai video. So let me know what my next video for my introductory series should be. And I will see you guys the next time. JV out. Peace.